Okay, this is the rotary knife assembly from a Fischbein machine with a rotary knife. Uh, this would be the bottom of it. This would be facing the floor. This would be facing up. It'd be facing the operator this way. We've got it laid back so the vise will hold it. Um, Here is the moving knife, which is operated by the cylinder, which is operated by the solenoid. That's the ready position. That's the cut position. Now, in order to change this blade or both blades, you will need to take this off of the sewing head, but you don't actually have to take this off of here. I mean, it's fine right where it is. The blade, the moving blade, I'll show you here in a second. Right now, we're going to take the stationary blade off. It's got two screws that hold it to the two mounting blocks. All the screws on these are metric, which would be okay, except all the screws on the sewing head are SAE. That's just the way it goes. All right, there's the two screws that hold the moving knife on. They just come out, you put the new blade on, you put them back in. So that would be done. The only thing you'd have to watch for that is uh, this shaft that goes through the hub. There are pressed in bushings in that hub, and the shaft will wear a long time before it needs replacing, but the bushings wear faster, they're softer. So if you end up getting side to side lateral play in this knife shaft, you can just pull it out, replace those bushings, and then put your shaft back in unless you see that it's got wear on it. All right, now the tricky part of this is putting the new stationary knife on and adjusting it. Now, if you were to mount it flat on these two blocks, it would be in the same plane as the face of the moving knife, which is not going to cut very well. What you have to have is a little bit of opposition against that cutting edge as it rolls across so you get a good clean cut. The way that's done is with these set screws, and then the one's mounted, one is up here in the block. Those act as adjustable feet, so you can change the angle of this knife this direction as well as this direction. Now what I'm going to do is show you how to adjust those. What you want is a very slight angle inward looking from the bottom. You would want a very slight angle this direction. This is not this much, but to show you what I'm talking about. Rather than flat against that block, it should have a very slight angle inward. And then from the front position, it should have a very slight angle this direction. So it's basically you're making a compound angle. It's going to be in and uh, whatever. It's from two directions. So you do that with these adjustable feet. Now, you notice this one has the one uh, screw that's sticking out slightly from the surface. On the other end, you see the one, there it is, sticking out from the surface right here. The other one you don't actually see. That's going to give it that slight angle. So we're going to mount this back on loosely with the mounting screws. These are the ones that came on it. I actually like longer ones myself, but I didn't change them yet. All right, now, well, what you do is you get this one set first. This one will get a little closer, but we won't even snug it. It'll just be still kind of loose. All right, this end we're going to adjust first. We want it just barely separated from the block at the bottom and closer at the top. That looks like that's pretty much what we have. You can see it's not touching here either, but it's closer right here than it is down here. All right, so we're going to just leave that for now. I mean, that looks like a good starting place. Now, this one, what we have right now is a big clearance between here and here. And if not, it's not a big clearance, but there's no opposition here. It wouldn't cut. I can show you that didn't do anything. All right, we're going to tighten this down until one or the other of these feet just touch. I'm just make contact. We don't really care which one because we're going to keep this angle. We don't want to torque this blade any. We want to keep it flat. Don't want to put a twist or break the thing. So I just tightened this till it came in contact. Let's see what that does now. All right, there's a slight, you probably can't hear it, but I can feel it. There's a slight opposition there, and I haven't even got this tight yet. But you see how that cuts? Out here at the end, up in closer inside, it just cuts really clean. So that's probably what we're shooting for. Now what we're going to want to do at this point is check if one of these or the other is not in contact with that block. You would just crank it in until it just does contact. You want these to both have the same tension, which they do, and then go ahead and tighten this thing down. Now we got that one tight, got this one came back. We already had it tight, I guess. Check this again. Just out here at the end of the blade, it should just be a little bit tough. I mean, I can still do it easily with 2 fingers, but I can tell that it's there's some opposition there. And that's going to cut real clean. Now, if you have too much angle, either this direction or this direction, this thing is going to come down about here and it won't even go. And if you have to force it, then that's too much angle. You need to just have enough angle that you can see it. That's really all. You don't want any, that may be a half a degree. It may even be less than that. I don't know. Same here. This may be a degree or 2. But what really tells you is how this edge climbs across that edge when it completes the cut. And that's basically how you adjust those. Now it's ready to bolt back onto the side of the machine. This little block here, you may still have on your machine, you may not have. All it is a support that goes on the lower left corner of the throat plate, and screw goes through that. A lot of machines you see out in the field don't even have that on there. The throat plate is pretty stiff, and it's got screws in the other 3 corners, so I really don't think that it's going to affect anything if it's not there. But that's how you adjust that, and it's fairly straightforward, and it works. If you don't over adjust, if you don't make too much angle, this thing can cut up to a year and a half before you have to change blades. That's all.